Good morning, good morning, good morning. As we begin to come on, we're already set up this morning. We are live streaming as we begin to close out this particular chapter and intro into a new study chapter, skin analysis. Let's prepare to share the screen. Okay, in preparation of today's lesson, a couple of things I really wanted to identify. I did not want to skip over. I know this is an accelerated course, but I did not want to skip over some key components of such as acne and discoloration of the skin. So today we're going to go deeper into talking about acne, how to identify it, and then the questions that should come up pertaining to the consultation. How do we communicate with our clients? Because honestly, when before we even touch the client, what we have to determine, what does the client need versus what does the client want. Okay, so the needs versus the wants, and a lot of times the needs will outweigh the wants. Okay, so this is what your skin needs, this is what it needs to move to the next level. And sometimes the client want this. Okay, they don't really understand what do they need, and so that needs to be communicated between the esthetician, the cosmetologist, and the client. And so today we're looking at describe the types of acne. So we're going to talk about clogged pores, all that good stuff. And yesterday we mentioned cyst, and there is a type of acne that is characterized by a cyst, systemic. Um, they call it cystic acne. Okay, so a lot of times when you see that, it needs to be a reference that that's outside of the traditional esthetician scope. And so you'll refer that to advanced aesthetics, med spa, where a medical professional, or them to just go see their dermatologist. But now I think in our area, we have more med spas that are coming up, which also have they have partners of registered nurses and dermatologists on board. And so I think a med spa would suffice, and keep it all under the realm of aesthetics. So when we look at acne, okay, we already know what the skin should look like. Okay, anything outside of smooth, soft, supple, it carries its own oil, its own lipids to hydrate the skin. It's pH balance. The acid mantle, sweat, oil come together to make sure everything is balanced. We know what it should look like. Whenever there's a deficiency within the oil glands or the sweat glands, you definitely may be able to find, boom, something related to acne. But let me clear some things up. Just make it real simple. I don't want you to be trying to figure it out. Um, Whenever you see acne, a lot of times when someone says acne, if someone says, "Oh, I dealt with acne," in these particular areas. Whenever I hear the word acne, I also hear oil, oil, oil. Okay, and now I'm gonna charge this. Whenever I hear the word acne, I also subconsciously hear the word oil. Okay. Um, Whenever oil is present, yes, there's a percentage that hydrates the skin, um, actually give luster to the hair, skin, and nails, things that's what your body naturally produces. But anything on top of what your body naturally produces, like overactive oil glands, that oil sets up and it draws, okay? It draws dirt to it. All right. And so with that happening, it's going to create a circumstance where your skin is like, this is now we have a bacteria buildup and something is going on here, and you're going to start to see little things pop up like small references of acne, pimples, things of that nature. You'll see that pop up. And anytime I see that, I'm instantly thinking cleansing, double cleansing of the skin, because there's something has set, bacteria and oil has mixed, sweat, all of that has set up and causing non-pleasant environment. And so this is where a lot of times we get acne. Also, when I see or hear the word acne or someone says that, I'm thinking of their pores have enlarged to hold in too much oil. So it's a lot of things as a professional, as you're learning, you say, okay, I see acne, you need to think of excessive oil, enlarged pores. Okay. So honestly, acne is an issue that people deal with from puberty on up, middle school on up, or whatever, now starting whenever, they're changing their bodies on up. I see some people don't get acne to 30. Some people get it at, only in their teens, and their skin is beautiful in their 20s and they never see it again. But it can start, pretty much at any time. Anything can go on in the body that, you know, um, but whenever there's a set environment, you will see breakouts, so those set environments are unpleasant. You don't want to have bacteria. So dirty face, somebody's not cleaning their face. You're not getting facials. Everybody's touching your face. You're not cleaning your hands. Bacteria is being transferred from the nails to the face, or, so many different things could occur that can cause us to have these spontaneous breakouts, or that we also label as mild forms of acne, especially we see it continuously. And so when I see that and I'm listening to my client, I'm definitely hearing them. I'm seeing what I see with my eyes, but in the back of my mind, I'm saying those pores are enlarging, is holding too much oil. I'm asking them questions like, are there any areas or any times of the year where you feel like your skin is oilier than usual? Do you feel like you produce more oil in a certain season than in any other area? Is there, if you went outside today and you started sweating, what area would you sweat the most at? I'm asking those kind of questions because I'm trying to bring down to, is this a continuous thing? Is it seasonal? Um, I hear what they're saying, but please remember, clients will always tell you what they want you to know and not necessarily everything. So I may ask things in different ways, but I'm trying to get a very in-depth understanding of, when does this occur? Does it occur all the time? Is it something that just occasionally occurs? So once I get that understanding, I'm also taking a closer look at their pores, Pores. So I'm looking at their skin very closely. And if I could see the pore openings, yeah, enlarged pores, which means you have some interaction going on that's too much. So those oil glands are just producing a little too much oil. And the more that oil gland produces, that pore says, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. And it starts enlarging. It starts spreading itself to hold in the oil. And that's where a lot of acne starts to form, because that excess oil is just sitting there in those pores. And then we have sweat, we have dirt, we have people makeup, we have so much going on that it now becomes like a breeding ground for bacteria, and hence we have breakouts, pimples, acne, and things of that nature. So when you see just this four-letter word, know there's just a lot that comes behind it. And it may seem like a simple fix to a lot of people. To me, things are, it's just, complex things can seem a little simple, but I don't want you to wait 20 years to understand how simple it was, because I didn't have anybody to tell me. I had to really get in there and learn and learn and learn and learn. But when you see this four-letter word, it is one, become money motivated. It is one of the number one things, other than discoloration, that makes people say, I need an esthetician. I need to find out. I need somebody to fix this, somebody to fix that, somebody to do that. Other than discoloration, this is maybe the number one thing that people come to you about. So if you can be the solutionist, or you can say, hey, I'm going to be an esthetician, but I'm going to specialize in acne, you will never, I would say, I'm going to proudly say, you'll never be broke. You'll never be broke, because acne has been a problem. And if you can solve a problem, you'll always have a client. I tell people, don't jump on trends. You'll always have a client. And then you're not moved. You should not be moved by products and what they say and what they claim. You got to have the understanding, okay, this person has acne. It's a problem to them. I need to be the problem solver. Number one, I need to look at their skin. If I see those enlarged pores, if I see and I ask questions, and they're giving me answers related to oily skin. They're giving me answers really related to they don't really care for their skin as much. They're giving me answers that coincide with, okay, this is why acne is being caused. I know I need to go in, kill the bacteria. When I go in and kill the bacteria, I need something also to shrink the pores. I need to kill the bacteria, dry up the oil, shrink the pores. Pores. I don't know why I'm saying that word crazy today. And when you shrink the pores, if it's a psychological thing to the glands. If the pores are not willing to expand, I can't put more oil in. I can't pump more oil in. Okay. So when you have shrinked or smaller pores, when you can contract and tighten those pores, it would not receive additional oil. I don't know if that makes sense. I have to keep repeating it, because internally it's going to keep expanding. But what we could do on the outside, we could shock it, and we could shrink that pore. And once it shrinks, it won't receive more than what it analyzes from the head. It won't receive it. So we can shut down the amount of oil that's being produced, and that eliminates the overabundance of oil. We could have a facial routine, keeps it clean. We can educate our clients about no touching, da 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 da. We can also use products and great ingredients as well, but we will use high frequency, LED, just different things in our little bag that we can use to help eliminate that. And based on what they eat, change a whole lot of things that can really get rid of and say goodbye to acne. So we have to ask questions. We have to listen. And then in our minds, we have to put our plan together. This is our treatment plan that we're putting together that for this client, which means no two acnes are the same. And my dog. Hold on one moment. Okay. So now that I'm back, I forgot what I was saying. So basically, if you can understand how one comes in and how to treat it, you'll be solution based. You'll be solution based for a very long time. And I'm very excited about anyone that comes in and says, hey, they want to focus on acne, because It is very rare that you find estheticians that want to focus on the problems that people literally have going on with their skin. And so, super excited about it. There's a place in the education world for estheticians like that. And that is a place, of course, in salon spas, med spas. You really earning the top amount of money, the top payroll because of your expertise. So, very excited about that. Let's look at the term acne and highlight. I'm gonna highlight some things in yellow. I've almost also bookmarked this so you can go back to. And exactly what I said, I'm talking about the excess of oil. As you begin to read, you'll see that as well. It is an inflammatory skin disorder of the sebaceous gland. Bam. Let's talk about that. Anytime you see the term inflammatory, you need to see the word red. Okay? You see a couple of things. Redness, sensitivity. Acne is an inflammatory skin disorder. We can service them in the salon. Okay? Certain levels of acne, you will have to refer out to a physician. But for the most part, the lower levels of acne you can service in the salon. And acne is, I shouldn't say levels or types, it is grades, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Okay? So when you see the term inflammatory, I'm just training you now, and I hope this never departs. Okay? When you see the word inflammatory, you need to see redness and you need to see sensitivity. Okay, redness and sensitivity. So anyone that comes in, books an appointment, first time out, and we noticing they have acne, automatically I'm gonna go to my most sensitive products and cosmetics to use. Very low fragrance, very minimum on chemicals, things of that nature. I need to understand how the skin reacts to certain products. And once it reacts to just the least of them, then I'll be able to say, okay, we can move here, we can move here, we can move here. But when I see the word inflammatory, I also see redness and I see sensitivity. Okay. And so with acne, most of the time, if you're going to see inflammatory redness, you should always have something in your station, something in your suite that if it's always an IF. Okay. If this client becomes super sensitive, what do I have to calm this client's skin down? It may not be textbook, but holistic. You need an aloe vera plant. Not so much. Yeah, I love aloe vera water. I love, and you should not have aloe vera juice. We are not using aloe vera juice on the skin. That is something internal. What the most beneficial thing would be aloe vera water, leaf water. So you can get some aloe vera leaves, but I just purchased aloe vera leaf water. It is the basis of about 90% of toners that you see on the market. Aloe vera leaf water. Look it up. Okay. You can order off Amazon. You can go to Whole Foods and buy it. I just gave you a jewel. Okay. I would keep aloe vera leaf water, rose water. Those particular things are anti-inflammatory that you can automatically spray, pat on the skin, and the skin will start to calm down. Anything, if inflammatory means hot, redness, sensitivity, I am going to use the opposite, which is something cool. So cool stones, the cold globes, ice cubes, a cold towel, that calms the skin down. To then we decide what we're able to do. But first thing first, if client skin gets overly red, they become very sensitive. So, oh, my skin burning, I want to cool it down. I'm not going to keep putting warm things, hot things on top of it. Um, and here's the thing, when you see people that have the steamer on, their steamer, we're going to learn in a few chapters, that steamer is only supposed to be on for a set amount of minutes. It's less than 10 minutes in a whole facial service. It needs to soften the skin, pull everything to the surface, do what it's supposed to do. The longer that the steamer is on, it will cause the skin to get more sensitized. Okay, so it will cause inflammatory actions of the skin. So we don't want to have that steamer on too long, which will contraindicate us doing the facial. We won't be able to complete the facial for the predicament is putting the skin in. So we that's one thing too. So I just wanted to break down inflammatory skin disorder. We can do it in a salon up to a certain grade. And when you see the word inflammatory, you should see sensitivity. You should see redness. I'm also going to say you should see heat. Okay, heat can occur, sensating can occur, and I don't say burning. I always say sensating. I don't like the word irritating because those words would trigger clients to say, oh, my skin's supposed to be burning, my skin's supposed to be irritating. And I don't want to have that kind of breakdown, anxiety attack on the table. So, sensating. Do you feel something indifferent than what you were feeling before? And I just will stay, in touch with them and communicating with them as I'm doing the service. Sebaceous glands. So it's a disorder of the sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands are oil glands. Okay, so that means that oil glands are overproducing. This is why I say when you see the word acne, you should also see, okay, it's too much oil being produced. It's a disorder of the sebaceous gland. Period. As I said before, if you know your terms, you're able to, even if you don't study, you're able to, when that test comes, you're able to read the question or read the words, find out what it's asking because you understand the terminology that is going on. Okay. Um, Characterized by, I'm gonna put this in green, excess sebum production. When I say producing too much oil, that's what that means, excess sebum production. So you can say, if you don't learn anything else today, I learned that acne is an inflammatory skin disorder of the oil glands, and the oil glands produce too much sebum. They produce too much oil. Okay. It says the excess oil and dead skin cells can plug pores. Here we go, back on yellow. The excess oil, all that extra stuff, and dead skin cells. You said dead skin cells. Yes, remember, last chapter, we have skin cells that's constantly being shedded. Every morning you wash your face, every time you take a bath, you have excess of dead skin cells. Every time your skin is constantly reproducing itself, okay, based on your age, more than others. It's constantly repairing. So you got the excess dead skin cells, excess oil, okay, both of those put together, not talking about the sweat also. It plug pores, it clogs the pores. Ah, so now that the pores are clogged, they create comedones. We learned that comedones are blackheads and whiteheads. So when you see a client that has blackheads or whiteheads, that is the beginning stages of acne. You got to clean that out because if they don't clean it out, they're going to have another problem down the line. After the plugged pores, creating comedones, papules, remember, we learned that yesterday and day before. Papules are pimples with no pus. So it's dry. But then if you don't get that out, then it turns into pustules. Now your pimples got pus in it. Redness, sensitivity. If you neglect that, and there's another level of sensitivity, there's an upgraded form of acne called cystic acne. Now the acne has cysts in the bunch of the pustules. So it's no longer you can go in and do extractions. You got to send them to a dermatologist because now you got to drain the cyst and they got to pull the sac out. And sometimes when they pull the sac out, you don't want it to be there a long period of time because the longer it's there, the deeper it gets into the layers of skin. And so now you don't want to have a face deformation, where they've had to go in there and dig out. You don't want to have that. Or sometimes people have it on their shoulders because people have back acne, so you'll have those little dips or feel those little ridges. You don't want to have that. And so one thing can lead to another, which leads to another, which leads to another. And so our goal, we should be preaching clean skin care. Okay. We do not want to get to the point where there's acne, because now you wanting a traditional facial, the price moves from maintenance to corrective. Now I gotta fight this acne. I gotta work with this. It's gonna take more advanced product, advanced thinking, advanced equipment, all of that, advanced ingredients. And so it comes with an advanced price. Right. And so you have individuals who specialize in acne, and their facials, their treatments are high end because of the specialty area. Okay. The specialty area. It says bacteria in the follicles are anaerobic. That is, the bacteria cannot live in the presence of oxygen. So if the atmosphere is oxygen, it is going to stay embedded. It will stay embedded in the skin, in the follicle. We don't want the bacteria to be embedded in the follicle, okay? Because it just moves from one place to another. And it says, and we're not even talking individuals who go through, we're just talking somebody who's just not properly maintaining hygiene or cleaning, their face or whatever in a particular area. We're not talking the stresses of life. We're not talking medications. We're not talking disease. We're not talking puberty. All of those things, life, all of those things play a part as well. Stress, pregnancy, all those things play a part as well. And so we got to get to the nitty gritty first. So as a esthetician, you got to get to the bottom of it, find out what's going on. That's why we ask all those questions. That's why I'm kind of nosy about what they're doing when we're not even talking diet. So while we're going through this journey, and we don't get this overnight, as you can see, so it's not going to be an overnight. You may see some results the first time, depending on what you're using to treat the client, but it's not something that is overnight. Okay. And so it has a problem living on the outside, but it will sit in that pore. The bacteria will sit in that pore. And that's why we have that high frequency machine I showed you guys yesterday. The high frequency machine not only push product where we need it to go, but it kills bacteria. So I would apply that high frequency over it when I clean out that pore and get all that dirty stuff, the blackhead and whiteheads out. I will put that gauze on and take that high frequency across that the facial area. It is killing the bacteria. Okay. And where bacteria is gone, it also would dry up the oil. Not only will it dry up the oil, it will cause the pores to tighten up. So that's why I said that high frequency one should be a staple in every esthetician and cosmetologist. It not only stimulates blood circulation, it does some things for the esthetician as well. So, start out with a small one and then kind of elevate your way up. But I would use it as an upgrade as part of all of my facial treatments, especially if the individuals, have acne. Because once we kill the bacteria, we then eliminate any acne forming, because in using a high frequency, we're killing the bacteria, we're drying up the oil, and we're closing a follicle. Now, the products we may use a clay mask to continue to draw up excess oil, clean that follicle out, and tighten the pores. And so we use one thing after another that works together. And I think that is very important. Bacteria cannot live in oxygen, so it will sit in that area. Somebody's on the other side. Let me let them in. Hold on one moment. Okay. All right. So we're back. And it says when follicles are blocked with sebum. What's another word for sebum? oil and dead skin buildup. Okay, that's your daily stuff when you wash your face. Okay, dead skin buildup, daily stuff when you take a bath. That's the ring around the tub. So that's dead skin buildup. So it says follicles are blocked with oil and dead skin buildup. Oxygen cannot reach the bottom of the follicle. Mm. So if oxygen cannot reach the bottom of the follicle, that's the hair root. So for cosmetologists, it's impossible for hair to really get what it needs to get to grow and do what it's supposed to do if it can't even get down there. So as a cosmetologist and esthetician, this is what you have to think about. The products that people sell you that tell you put this on the scalp. Now, this is why all drops ain't good. How am I going to use these drops and I have not cleansed or detoxed these pores? And if the person is sweats a lot, if the person produces a lot of oil, it's already compacted in that follicle. Why am I putting more oil on it and expecting a hair to grow? It cannot. The follicle is blocked by the natural oil that the body produces and the dead skin cells that's just sitting there. This is why it's important that people get shampoos. This is also why it's important that people bathe regularly. It's a hygiene maintenance thing. Estheticians, we have all of these lotions and creams and people use for is example petroleum jelly. You know, people use Vaseline. When I hear people say they use petroleum jelly and Vaseline, I say, okay. When I didn't know any better, I just didn't know any better. And I used it too. But now I say, okay, what's the purpose of petroleum jelly? It is a barrier, it is a synthetic barrier that coats the skin. It coats the skin like a heavy coat, a blanket. Okay, it gives you lubrication, but it does not have any skin benefits. Indeed, it blocks the follicle. So, how is your skin supposed to breathe if it is blocking everything that goes down in the skin? It can't get there. So, you hadn't put no good stuff on. The only thing you put on is Vaseline. But your skin needs vitamin C. Your skin needs electrolytes. Your skin needs this and skin needs that. None of your cosmetics you put on after that can go down because it's been blocked. So we have to think about the products that we're using, just the day to day, the stuff. It needs to benefit the skin. It needs to be a aquaphor for wounds. Okay, for healing, Aquaphor and D is my go-to because it has skin benefits of healing and relieving of itchiness and things of that nature. So in my esthetician bag, in my Cosmo bag, I always carry A&D ointment because and it is smaller molecule than a petroleum jelly. It emulsifies, that means it breaks down easy, and it has benefits to the skin. So it's not just something that coats, and I don't need anything to coat and make my skin feel heavy. Clients that come in for aesthetic services do not want to leave with their skin feeling like there's a heat blanket over it. So we have to understand the weight of our products that we're putting on the skin and if it has any benefits. And pretty much probably what they're using is causing some of the issues that they are experiencing. So we have to check that. I'm putting that in yellow, and that's something it goes for clogged pores on the scalp, clogged pores on the face. Okay. It says sebum. This is oil. Another word for sebum is oil can irritate follicles and cause inflammation. What did I just say? Oil can irritate the follicles and cause inflammation. When I think, you can go to the chat. When you hear the word inflammation, I just talked about inflammatory. When I see the word inflame, anything, what else should the back of my mind should pick up? When I see the word inflame, I should also say, I should also see sensitivity, heat, and redness. When I see the word inflame, inflammation, inflammatory, I should also see those things. Okay? And so don't be fooled. Trust your eyes, but also understand what you know is what you know. So sebum can irritate the follicle. All right? So it's okay for your for your follicles to have a detox. We can do that with facials. And in the facial, it's called disincrustation. It's called, a lot of time they use enzymes and chemical peels for to remove sebum. They use something called a microdermabrasion for that, for the scalp. They use the baking soda vinegar detox. They use chelating shampoos or super cleansing shampoos to help detox the scalp. It says, so as bacteria inflammation grow, the longer it sits there without treatment, pressure is exerted on the follicle wall and the wall ruptures. It becomes infected and debris spills out into the dermis. So now you're starting to see what was going on in the inside. You're starting to see it on the outside. So this is how we get the redness, the pimple, the pus, the whiteheads, the blackheads, when these particular areas have erupted. Okay, so it was something brewing the whole time. And now that it's been there too long, it can't hold it anymore. You're starting to see it pushes itself outward. Okay. And so you need to make sure that we're always, how do we prevent this? You're always in a cleansing mechanism. You're always in a cleansing mechanism, getting rid of that oil, sweat, and dirt every day. Get maybe sometimes twice a day. Many individuals do cleansings twice a day, and sometimes you will need to do it twice a day. You may have to pat and get a light cleanser if someone has excessive sweating or oil. You may have to do an extra cleansing at work. You might have to have a little bag at work that allow you to do that extra cleansing. Okay, I'm gonna put that in green because all of that is amazing. Let me take some questions, maybe some things that you guys have seen. We talked about papules, pustules, and cysts yesterday. They are associated with acne. They start off as a papule, then it'll move to a pustule, a pimple with a pus, and then it will move to cysts. Okay. Um, but if you want to unmute, have commentary, um, ask a question, um, you guys are free to do that. Okay. Causes of clogged pores, as we just stated, philosebaceous unit, that is that sebum, that is your sebaceous glands. Every hair is attached to one. Okay. Every form of massage and touch, you have some oil that starts to be secreted into the follicle. Okay. If you're outside and that heat is pulsating, heat is a form of massage. And so heat can cause excessive sweating and excessive oil production. All right. Everybody got to know a little bit of everything. So if you know your clients produces a whole lot of oil, you need to act when they say they're going on vacation. Hey, make sure you're not in the sun at these amount of times. You're going to have this excessive oil. We need to, as soon as you come back from vacation, we need to go into a detoxifying facial or something of that nature to cleanse and pull those things out of the pores. Page 132, also bookmarked and highlighted, clogged follicles are caused by many factors, including excess oil retention, hyperkeratosis, that is that dead skin cell, those fibers that help build up the skin, sebaceous filaments, waste materials. Another reason follicles get clogged is that the opening of the follicle may be too small to let impactions out. This is where sometimes you see them do micro needling insertions to push things out. You may have, you feel something underneath, but there's no opening. So you may have to make an insertion to for those openings as well. Types of clogged follicles, as we saw in the video, comedones. Comedones are um, blackheads and whiteheads. You have open comedones and you have closed comedones. These here, when it's black, is an open comedone. When it's white, it's going to be a closed comedone. Y'all, when it's black, it's been there for a long time. It needs to get out because after that, it's going to turn into a papule. It's going to dry up, get hard like a little knot. After that, more bacteria is going to get on it and it's going to turn into pus. It's going to be and pus is a sign of infection. So you don't want it to get bad and bad and bad and bad and bad. And so when you see this, one of the first things in your skin analysis is like, hey, we got to make sure we clear the blackheads and whiteheads out. Let's get this dead debris, this oil, sweat, compaction. Let's get that out. Okay. Milia. Milia is where you can feel it underneath. And it looks like little white spots, but they're not. You can't, you're like, oh, they're nothing, but you can feel it and you can see it, but they're not big as a papule or big as a pustule. Okay. They're underneath. What we need to do is get them to the surface. So sometimes you have to declog the skin. This is where we'll do like an insertion, and we will push them out. Okay. They're just sitting there, but they're sitting there because they're going to be a problem for you later. So you need to go ahead and get them out. That will be a sign of congestion. Your skin cannot breathe. Okay. And you don't want it broken out. Most of the time I see it on chins and cheeks. And so you do not want to have like a broken out chin. You want to go ahead and get that out. Okay. Most of the time you can use cosmetics like a microdermabrasion, enzymes to kind of just soften the top layer of the skin, and it would just push through using LED, things of that nature. Applying general pressure after the skin has been softened really brings it up to a head. Retention hyperkeratosis could be hereditary. They're just excessive of dead skin cells. Whenever I see someone that has like a really dark upper cheek area, okay, and it may also be from they may medical conditions like PCOS or obesity, someone who may be of a certain weight range, and then they have dark cheeks. That's also a sign to me of just that skin repairing itself, but also just rebuilding itself in one area. A lot of time people don't have a hyperpigmentation problem when you see that. That's just that skin just keeps rebuilding itself on top of each other. They need a really, really deep cleansing, may even an enzyme or may even a chemical peel to really take a lot of that dead skin off right there. But I have seen where microdermabrasion and enzymes just double will help take initially just layers of dead skin cells off in that area. So I see that. And when you see it, don't look at it, oh, that's a big old dark spot up there. No, it may come from hormonal things they eat, or it may be hereditary. But there are ways that we can get rid of that. Okay. It usually is not red. It's just a lot of sebum, a lot of dead skin cells, and it makes the skin look darker in those areas. But for me, someone that deals with PCOS, I see it as this person may have PCOS. They may have an endocrine cycle issue. Even I see it sometimes in men as well. So this is why advanced knowledge of skincare is good. So you can help someone else along the way. They may not know what is going on. Sebaceous hyperplasia, yellow flesh colored. This is the skin is oilier in areas, can be very sensitized, has overgrowth of sebaceous glands for comedones, amelia. So you even have a compaction of these things. Sometimes surgery or lasering is great for removal. Okay. Soberia, this is we see this common severe oiliness of the skin, can have this waxy look because sometimes it comes right along with dermatitis as well, which is the drying of the skin. So you have drying and oiliness together, and it could be a very sensitive area around the hairline. For a lot of people, it can have discoloration, and so sometimes it's misidentified as acne, but it's almost like you got to treat the drying and you got to treat the oiliness at the same time. Okay, so this person will need a special treatment as well. When we look at grades of acne, that's why I wanted to tell you acne is not step type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, like some other steps we have in aesthetics and cosmetology, but acne comes in grades 1 through 4. The lower the number, the non-serious, minor the acne. The higher the number, the more serious the acne. Okay, so grade 1 is minor breakouts, mostly open comedones, which means you can see the blackheads, okay? Some whiteheads and a few papules, which means you probably don't see anything with pus, just some couple little acne spots that you need to clear up. Grade 2, closed comedones. So you're seeing blackheads, you're seeing whiteheads, and you may see a few pimples, okay? You may see a few pimples. Grade 3, you see more pimples than grade 1. Grade 3, now you're starting to see some red and inflamed. You see a lot. It says many blackheads, many comedones, many papules, which is the dry, um, like the dry pimples. And now you see the pimples with the pus in it, the pus cells as well, and you see associated redness and inflamed. So now I'm having a really serious, we're really talking about sensitivity. We're really talking about minimizing the heat. Rosacea may come in. We're reducing our ingredients and products. A person may have this on their arms, their face, their hands, things of that nature. So we have to be very, very careful. Even in shampooing, if you see this around the forehead area, the shampoo could affect the product, whatever's going on this. We share kindred skin from scalp to face. And so you may have to alter shampoos and conditioners as well. And grade 4, let's looking at that very closely. This is what we call cystic acne. It should be referred out to a physician. Cysts and comedones, papules, pustules, inflammation. So now we got all of it. We got blackheads, we got whiteheads, we got the dried papules. We have now the pimples with the pus in it. We now have increased inflammation and redness, and we have scar formation. So whereas you have been healing, then it comes up again. Then you go back into healing, then it comes up again. Now we have scarring of the tissue damage. So now that texture of skin is no longer smooth. Okay, so that's a lot of people deal with that on the face, on the cheeks, on the forehead, things of that nature. Okay, we can work hand in hand with medical professionals to get this taken care of. But this person will be referred to what I would consider when I told you to watch the skin decisions. This would be that type of client because radio frequency, now things that no longer we can use with product is great for cleansing, but we're going to have to go advanced to really treat this. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to understand. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. The higher the grade, the more difficult it is. And the lower grade is easy for clients to go ahead and get rid of it. Okay. Just like grade 1 is like some daily things. And here's some things too with teenagers, adults as well. Every Sunday need to be a reset day. Sometimes people reset on Wednesdays as well, midweek. But when I say a reset day, your pillowcases should be washed, your sheets, should be washed and changed, things of that nature. Because a lot of times, we talked about those dead skin cells where it's on our pillowcases and sheets, and then we keep laying our face there. We just keep applying the same thing. And sometimes where we lay our heads are the dirtiest places. So on people's couches, arm, things of that nature, that can cause breakouts. Okay, so we have to really identify what's really going on. Educate your clients that every client need a reset, either midweek and on Sundays. Sundays are great because my teenagers know, hey, I just give them a day. Sports. Individuals that play sports need to reset twice a week, need to change their pillowcase out, need to wash your face. If you sweat it and you just let it dry, it's just causing more and more bacteria. So even the individuals that play sports need to have a cleansing routine every day. Okay, in the mornings after practice, and until you decide to do other stuff, but they need to be in a facial chair, getting their hair shampooed because that sweat irritates everything. And if you share kindred skin, scalp, and face, all of it's being affected. I'll take some questions. Okay. So let's just look at some triggers. And I want you to think about this weekend. What triggers acne and things that we see on the hair and scalp? What triggers it? A lot of times is what we eat. And let me just highlight these triggers right here. I'll put it in yellow. Genetic is just, you know what? It's hereditary. It's genetic. DNA, you can't do anything about DNA. You can't do anything about your mother and father. Can't do anything about that. What's in your family? You can't. What travels with you? You can't do anything about that in this aspect. Okay, hormonal, PCOS, menopause, lack of hormones, too much hormones. Okay, pregnancy, post pregnancy, environmental. That is what's in the area where you live. And that we know environmental is very important. Lifestyle, family, and environmental also is where you work. Okay. Lifestyle, things that you do. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Things of that nature. That wears and tears and builds up as well. You like cocktails, that's a lot of sugar. Certain products, so you have cosmetics, things of that nature, dietary influences, milk, sugar, chocolates, okay, um, chips, anything that has red artificial flavoring are triggers. And so we have to really, really think soda pops. We have to really think about dietary. So I talk to my clients about that because I myself go through the same thing. And so if I have to cut back and have discipline with myself about certain things just so my skin can be in a certain place, I'm going to share that with my clients, what have worked with me. So that's that educating component. You have to educate your clients. So you may have to learn about nutrition. And when you're talking questions about where this acne is coming from, your client said, where is it coming from? You can say it may be genetic. So I'm going to ask about mom and dad and grandmama now. It may be hormonal. I'm going to ask about birth control pills, injections, shots. I'm going to ask about endocrine, reproduction, pregnancy, postpartum. I'm going to ask about where they work, where they live. I'm going to ask about how often they drinking and smoking. I'm going to ask about the products that they're using, because a lot of time people think it's the products and cosmetics, and it's not. I'm going to ask about what they're eating, what they're putting in their mouths. And so, people are very independent, get to do what they want to do. But if you know something that benefits you, share it with them. Share with them your vegan lifestyle. Share with them about how you reduce pork and you saw a big change. Share with them about how you reduce beef. Share with them about how I still eat those, but I cut back on the sugar and did this and did that. Share with them because that's our job as well. Okay. And so there are some areas that I highlighted pertaining to consultation. And it says dig deeper. That's all I want you to do is dig deeper. Okay. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. Miss Somerville, I'm gonna let you call it. We can have a study session. Our study sessions are about an hour. It doesn't bother me, but if you want to celebrate your Juneteenth and don't want to have to deal with me tomorrow, you let me know. If you have a study session tomorrow, I'm game for it. It's gonna be on you. What you think?
We're gonna go celebrate Juneteenth. We're gonna have a little fun tomorrow.
Okay, we gonna celebrate.
Yeah,
Okay.
go to
That
place.
I love
Like
you, Miss. I love you.
the show.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. I love you. So but I was in there with you, right? I was in there with you. Whatever you want to do, we gonna ride. We gonna
Come on,
ride.
baby. We outside tomorrow, baby.
We outside
Black Friday, we
tomorrow.
outside.
So we're gonna use today. Continue studying. I think P, are you on P? How you doing today, P?
I'm good. How are you all?
Good. We
All
just clowning over here. This is an important factor. Ask questions this weekend. That's your homework. Ask questions, and when you are celebrating Juneteenth, start looking at somebody's skin. And what I want you to do, take pictures. You're gonna have to start taking pictures. Take a front, a side, a profile, and just keep it in your journal. And we're gonna have to create a journal and say, hey, and we're gonna call them case studies. What and I just ask you, what's going on with your skin? What do you not like? And that's where we start. Okay, what do you not like, or what is your goal? What would you like to see in your skin? That is, and I would even do the same thing with hair. What would you like to see? Because people don't believe fat meat is greasy. So you have to show them the before, and you got to show them the after, and you got to show them the process in the middle. When I was regularly in the salon, hey, this is what you came in with. As I would use some of the best products, I would tell them, feel this. Do you ever feel like that at home when you do it? This is what I will use every opportunity to educate, because what that does is continue to build trust. And once people can see results, they trust you. Okay. And so pretty much you can count on them to pay the bills at the end of the day. But I want you to continue reading, but I do want you to just break out this weekend, take a couple of pictures, and ask people whatever area you're studying, what's your goal for your hair? What's your goal for your skin? And even the people that come sit in your chair, P, this weekend, ask them what's been going on with their skin. Say, hey, we're studying skin. What's been going on with your skin? Because whatever they got going on with their skin, guess what? It tells the sign in the hair. It tells the sign. So hair, skin, and nails on the same frequency. So it's gonna tell what's going on. And whenever seeing something going on in the skin, I want to see their nails. I'm gonna ask questions about their skin, their nails, their body when they get out the shower, all that stuff. How does your skin feel? How long does it take? All that stuff helps me understand. Okay. I am pleased. It's been a plum pleasure to serve you guys today. If you need anything, you know how to contact me. Happy Juneteenth to everybody. And I will see you. Check your emails. Check your emails this weekend sometime. I got